A senior citizen got engaged to a 21-year-old man who people opined was young enough to be her grandson. The woman refused to listen to what anyone had to say, even cutting ties with her friends who disapproved of her relationship. There are some people who would do absolutely anything for love, even if it means letting go of people who have been in their lives longer than they've been in a relationship. They're willing to risk anything, without a care in the world for what others think. This is the reality of Pam Chasteen, a 60-year-old woman who fell in love with a 21-year-old boy named Jonathan Langevin. The pair insists age is just a number, and that no matter what people say, the two of them are in love.
Before we begin, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell for more amazing videos.
Pam was on a dating app back in 2018, where Jonathan left her a message. Upon first seeing his picture, Pam thought Jonathan easily looked like a teenager because he was baby-faced. His bio stated he was 21 years old. Although Pam thought she was too old for Jonathan, she admitted to liking younger men since in her 30s. She began to talk to him and discovered they had a lot in common. As they got to know each other better, Jonathan decided to be honest with Pam about his age. He wasn't actually 21, he was only 19. This took the 60-year-old aback, noting she already had 2 daughters in her 30s and she was also already a grandmother. But Jonathan refused to give up on her, assuring her he always wanted to be with a woman older than him. For the first couple of days, the couple only got in touch through video calls. A week later, Jonathan could no longer resist and traveled across the country from Minnesota to Oklahoma to be with Pam. Upon meeting, Pam was blown away. She thought Jonathan was even more handsome in person, and she immediately fell in love with him and the idea of them being together. They didn't waste any time, and after meeting for the first time, they decided to go sightseeing. It was then that they realized their relationship wasn't like any other. People felt inclined to comment about them. Pam and Jonathan were constantly ridiculed by those who saw them out together in public. She remembers the dirty looks, the side-eye glances, and the whispers they had to endure, recalling, "I heard one woman tell her friend that we looked disgusting and we shouldn't be together. It really upset me." The couple learned to tune out the noise, and it's something they've already gotten used to. They spent a couple of days together until it was time for Jonathan to head back to Minnesota. When he was done packing, Pam realized she didn't want him to go. She begged him to stay behind, and without a hint of doubt, Jonathan agreed. Back in Minnesota, the then 19-year-old was bunking in his friend's living room. That meant he had nothing waiting for him back home, so moving to Oklahoma to be with his new girlfriend was an easy decision. Soon after, Pam was certain she wanted her daughters to meet Jonathan. She asked them to come over and gave them a heads up about Jonathan's age. During the visit, Jonathan played with Pam's granddaughter. It was then that her daughters became open to the idea of their mom dating someone younger than them, and they gave their blessing. It wasn't just Pam who had some explaining to do. Jonathan also had to break the relationship to his parents, who were around the same age as Pam. Jonathan's parents had always known he was attracted to older women. They weren't surprised about the relationship, so they also gave their blessing. A couple of weeks later, they went through another test, meeting Pam's friends. She thought they'd be supportive of her new relationship, but unfortunately, it ended up a disaster. Pam's friends refused to interact with Jonathan, and they all uncomfortably sat in silence the entire time. Weeks later, they warned the 60-year-old that her new boyfriend was just using her. "A friend said he was young enough to be my grandson and that I needed therapy. I was so hurt," Pam said, realizing they weren't her true friends. She chose to cut them out of her life for good. By the 3rd month of their relationship, Pam and Jonathan were engaged. They traveled to Minnesota so Pam could meet Jonathan's family, and they welcomed Pam as one of their own with warm hugs and conversations. Ultimately, Pam is happy to have found the love of her life. Although she lost a couple of friends because of him, she is happy with the life they've built and is content knowing their closest family members approve of their relationship. Couples with large age gaps between them have fought for acceptance and respect through the years.